James 1, verses 1 through 4. This letter is from James, a slave of God and of the Lord Jesus Christ. I am writing to the 12 tribes, Jewish believers scattered abroad. Greetings. Dear brothers and sisters, when troubles of any kind come your way, consider it an opportunity for great joy. For you know that when your faith is tested, your endurance has a chance to grow. So let it grow, for when your endurance is fully developed, you will be perfect and complete, needing nothing. So James, Jesus' half-brother, became a leader of the first groups of Jewish Jesus followers in Jerusalem following the resurrection. James was no stranger to hard times. For instance, he had watched his older brother be crucified. He had witnessed just how far Jesus' enemies would go, and he knew all too well the risk and the cost of embracing Jesus' resurrection, of being found a disciple. In fact, he would be martyred only a short time after penning this letter in our Bibles. And the Jewish Jesus followers to whom he is writing this letter, they are no stranger to suffering either. The persecution of Jesus' followers had escalated so violently that they were forced to flee Jerusalem for their very lives. In a time of great uncertainty, when they needed each other most, they were scattered, unable to return to their home base. These are the circumstances into which James writes these first 4 verses. Friends, we have Christian brothers and sisters for whom this scenario is still very real. They worship and embrace the good news of Jesus' resurrection at the risk of their very lives, of losing everything. I imagine what this passage means for them, and I am humbled. I desire that my faith look more like theirs. And then I'm aware that though so different from the trial facing James and his readers, we are in the midst of our own trial. Like so many people, I imagined that the threat of coronavirus would be contained by now. And there is weariness at times as I remain in this season of continuous adaptation. But James promises that in God's goodness, no trial is wasted. For you know that when your faith is tested, your endurance has a chance to grow. So let it grow. For when your endurance is fully developed, you will be perfect and complete, needing nothing. Now we, in the midst of trial, don't tend to focus on the end result. Think way back to our church's art project leading up to Easter in 2017. Each week, new pieces of wood appeared on our platform in the sanctuary in a pile. One week, a broken chair, a pallet, all pieces of wood claimed from the local dump. And on its own, each piece was unattractive and seemed purposeless. But each week, that pile of unattractive things took more shape until the beautiful wooden and stained glass cross was created. The same cross that stands on the front lawn of our church today, providing hope and inspiration during a challenging time. The end result is something meaningful and beautiful. So what is the end result of our suffering or trials? Perhaps you've heard the image before of a silversmith. Our trials are likened to the heat that the silversmith applies to the silver to purify it. As he heats it, the dross or impurities rise to the top, creating a layer that the silversmith scrapes off. Then he heats it again and again, each time removing more waste. And what I find most meaningful about that process is that the silversmith knows he is done when he can see his face reflected in the silver. God does not cause our trials or suffering. But because he loves us and desires to work everything for our good, he can use hard times to build our faith and grow our character until we look more and more like Him, our good and gracious Creator. I don't know about you, but there is literally nothing in this world that I want more than that. Friends, if you are feeling weary in the midst of a trial, lean into it. Because imagine how different our world can be if we all come through the trial looking more like Jesus. Peace be with you.